In a bit of wings, the reality shatters. In your bed of roses and thorns, peacefully you sleep, slowly falling into an enchanted fairy tale. But when the midnight strikes and you'll wake up, will you remember your true colors be? Hi Twinkle Stars and welcome back to my channel. I'm Safir, an Italian writer and comic artist, and this was Feeble Fable, the story I'm currently working on. It's a drama fantasy with a little bit of romance. It's a story of growth and self-acceptance. And today I wanna tell you how the story was born and how it changed over the years. Since I was a child, I have always loved to imagine and make up scenarios and adventures in my mind. And I was really influenced by the cartoons I used to watch that I then discovered were Japanese and were called anime. Then, when I was about 8 years old, I started reading and I got inspired to write my own stories to share them with others. And that's when the first characters and world building was born. At this stage, it was a slice of life that just followed the love stories of these children. Then when I was in middle school, I discovered mangas and I started to draw. That's when I started making comics and I decided to turn what it was just a novel with some illustration in a manga. This is a really dear project to me and I'm really attached to it, as some of the themes are inspired by my personal experience, even though really loosely, and of course it's all fiction. Even though this was my very first project and the reason I both started to write and drawing, I didn't start to actually work on it until the end of 2017. I had in fact collected many ideas and characters over the years, but I was never really able to put them together in a convincing story. Then by the end of 2017 and the start of 2018, at the time I was going through a very bad art block, but I finally found the idea, the missing piece of the puzzle, the sparkle that made possible to put all the pieces together in what was a really convincing idea and to finally have a definitive structure of the plot. However, I decided to take some time off social media to really concentrate on the project and work on it privately. And I decided to work both on a light novel version, so a written version with illustration, that a comic adaptation, so a manga. And even though this project has been with me for 20 years, I'm still working on it, as it's a very long and complicated story, probably the longest project I have right now. I've currently finished writing the first book that covered the first arch, and I'm currently writing the second book that covers the second arch and the third arch. I almost finished the second arch and I'll then start the third, and after finish all the first draft, I'll probably go back and edit the whole thing together. As the more I work on it and the characters developed and stuff, there were new ideas and many changes that I need to make. However, I also started working on the comics and I finished to draw the introductive arch, and I'm currently working on the very first real chapter. You can find a little preview of the comic on my social medias. Right now, I don't have any expectation or project of what to do with the story, the book, and all this stuff, as it's a story I'm writing mainly for myself, so I don't accept any type of compromises on the story, and it needs to be just like I want it to be. However, who knows, and hope it's always the last to die. So this was Feeble Fable. I hope you'll support me on my journey. Read the preview, follow me on all my social media, and I'll see you back soon. Bye!